Well, welcome to the Black Madonna Speaks with me, your host, Stephanie Georgieff. I'm also the author of the Black Madonna Mysterious Soul Companion. And at the end of our time together, I will tell you how you too can get your own copy, either electronic, hard copy, or Audible edition of this very interesting book. As I make this segment, we are in the season of Michaelmas. Before I became familiar with anthroposophy in the Christian community, I had never heard of Michaelmas as a season within the liturgical calendar. Growing up in the Methodist Church, our main seasons were Lent and Advent. Trinity was what seemed to fill the so-called off-season, with olive green vestments on the pastor and altar. So Michaelmas was new to me, and as I encountered it this season through the years, as well as the reason for the celebration, which it's a festival of the Archangel Michael, I'm starting to understand all of this a little bit more. I hope to share my insights with you and how I feel the season of the Archangel Michael and the Black Madonna intertwine. For those of you who are familiar with my books and posts, you know I have a specific way of comprehending the Black Madonna. And I also, like I always say in my books and posts, these are my ideas. These are my conclusions. You are welcome to embrace them or refute them. My only hope is that whatever you do, you start your own journey with the Black Madonna. And I hope that it brings you as much joy and context for your life as it does for mine. So my specific way of comprehending the Black Madonna is that I see this genre of Madonnas as messengers and companions for our current era. The Rudolf Steiner quote, "I base my orientation towards the Black Madonna," comes from a cycle of lectures entitled "The Influence of Spiritual Beings on Man." The quote says, quote, "Art is the creation of organs through which the gods are able to speak to humanity," unquote. If we take this to be true, then what is it exactly that the gods are saying to humanity? I'd like to do a quick review of the Black Madonna as a genre. The Black Madonna is a title given to a European genre of religious art where the skin pigmentation of the Madonna and the Christ child are dark brown or black in presentation. These works of art are in stark contrast to the white Madonnas in the same region and also of the same era. Specifically, the Black Madonna presents as a somber virgin with very large hands, and as we have said before, with black skin. What is also of note is how these images are placed in shrines and cathedrals along the Camino de Santiago de Compostela, and how a large percentage of them are reported to have been carried from the Holy Land by the Knights Templar and the Crusaders. The Archangel Michael is an important spiritual being for many reasons. He is one of the four main archangels of the yearly cycle of seasons. His season is autumn and is specific to the days leading up to Christmas. We are told that Michael is the countenance of Christ, and in this context, the countenance means a reflection of Christ. It would be an endless segment to outline and explore all the deeds that Michael has done and continues to do for humanity. But what we have to keep in mind is that we humans are being schooled and initiated both individually and collectively so that we can be fully aware and prepared to take on our intended destiny of freely choosing to live in cosmic union with divinity. That's a mouthful, but in essence, this is what is happening right now. we need to keep in mind that the entire cosmic drama and unfoldment of human evolution is a result of human freedom. In freedom, we chose to veer off the path intended for us in the beginning of time. In response to this decision, the spiritual world designed a pathway back. But the spiritual world also still respects our freedom to choose whether or not we will take this path. The Archangel Michael, along with Christ and the angelic hierarchies, are constantly offering us options, sacrificing themselves for our betterment. In my opinion, there is a direct correlation between all of these deeds and the Black Madonna as messages from the gods. The Archangel Michael has quite a few tasks. One of them is to help guide humanity in comprehending cosmic intelligence. Another is helping to guide humanity on its collective ascent towards our spiritual destiny. Rudolf Steiner states, quote, "It is Michael's task to lead humanity back again along paths from which we came down, when, with earthly consciousness, we descended on the paths of thought, from the living experience of the supersensible to an experience of the world of senses." We notice two things when we gaze at the Black Madonna. One is that she is black. The other is that she usually has very large hands. Why is this? In anthroposophical artistic interpretation of color, black is the color of cosmic will. Now, hands are the agent of human will. We use our hands to do all sorts of things. We think about things, but in order to do them, we need our hands. We need our hands to write, to plant, to touch, to create, and so on. Something interesting about the Black Madonna is that the majority of these works of art came to the continent with the Crusaders as they returned from the Holy Land. Rudolf Steiner says that the Crusades were a preparation for the age of consciousness soul. What is the age of consciousness soul? One quick answer is that it is our current age, and it's the age where we are to develop our consciousnesses. And our consciousness is the part of us that is discerning, that knows how to discern truth from falseness from lies. The other answer to this question, what is the age of consciousness soul, is that it is our current age where we are to face and understand evil. A quick overview of the past several hundred years would confirm that we have had ample opportunity to face and understand evil. We must understand evil in order to transform it, and we must also be exposed to evil in order to develop freedom. If we had nothing to choose from, then how could we actually be free? In order to face our current challenges, it is necessary to find the will to be moral. Considering all that we face in our age and the ease in which one can participate in evil, and also, I would say, the sheer exhaustion by just dealing with everything that we have to deal with, it is obvious that one must have quite a bit of moral courage and will forces to be awake to what is true and what is false, and to choose the good even in the face of great temptation as well as great fatigue. When we look at the many shrines of the Black Madonna throughout Europe, we see several instances and presentations of both the Archangel Michael and the Black Madonna. Here is a picture of the entrance to the shrine at Jasna Gora in Częstochowa, Poland. We see the Archangel Michael above the mosaic reproduction of the famous Black Madonna. This Madonna was an inspiration to those who were resisting foreign invaders, those who were resisting the Nazis, and finally, those who were resisting communism. Another beautiful instance of the companion between the Black Madonna and the Archangel Michael is found in Le Puy-en-Velay in France. And I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that properly. These are two Black Madonnas that are found in the shrine of Le Puy. And this slide shows Le Puy Vista. And the shrine is the yellow building in the right quadrant of actually right third of the photograph. And the hill in the center, the beautiful little chapel on top of that, that is the chapel of Saint Michel, the Archangel Michael. Now, the statue that's on the opposite side is the statue of Mary, a very large Mary. But this is an interesting coupling of the Black Madonnas, two of them, and then also the Archangel Michael. And to get to this chapel, it's nearly 300 feet above the floor, the ground, and you need to take 300 steps to get up there. And when you go inside the chapel, it's just a beautiful medieval chapel that is filled with frescoes. And as you can see, there's an image on the right. It's a modern image of the Archangel Michael. And there is also a modern statue of the Black Madonna in this chapel. And it's reported that Joan of Arc came to this chapel to pray after one of her victories. Now, Le Puy is also a very famous entrance to the Camino de Santiago de Compostela. And it's actually called the Le Puy route. And it's probably one of the most scenic of all the routes. And lots of Black Madonnas along the way. The next really interesting coupling of the Archangel Michael and the Black Madonna we can find at Mont Saint-Michel, which is a monastery and shrine on an island off the Norman coast. And this almost fairy tale-esque building is a home to a Black Madonna. Now, what's interesting is the legend of the Archangel Michael associated with this. The bishop of the day, Saint Albert, was being visited by the Archangel Michael in his dreams and telling him he needed to build a chapel on this mount. And Michael appeared to the Bishop Albert 2 times, and Albert ignored him 2 times. And on the 3rd time, Michael poked him in the forehead and actually left a hole. And apparently this is what it took to get the bishop to start construction immediately. It was very, very effective. And what's also interesting is there's been a Black Madonna associated with this shrine since the 800s. We can see this Black Madonna. The original one was from the 700s, and unfortunately she didn't survive the French Revolution. But thankfully she was so beloved that there had been several copies that had been made. And this was a copy that was made, and when things calmed down, she was brought back as a pilgrim object of veneration. For me, all of these events and phenomena are quite meaningful and related. I have stated that I feel one of the main messages of the Black Madonna is that we are to use our wills to bring about the community of divinity on earth. It is also meaningful that these images were brought to the continent during the age of the Crusades, which was the preparation for our current age. That Michael is involved in both helping transmute cosmic intelligence to Earth and also in guiding us back to our ascent to the spiritual. And that he is pictured with so many Black Madonnas and shrines along the Camino. All of this is just so remarkable and to me is very, very much related. One of the legends I love most about the Archangel Michael is that of a great cosmic conference. This is the statue of the Archangel Michael on top of Mont Saint-Michel. This is a modern statue. It was designed in the late 1800s when Mont Saint-Michel stopped being a prison and started being a tourist attraction and as well as a religious location. So the legend that I love the most about the Archangel Michael is that of his participation in a great cosmic conference where the spiritual world gathered to reflect on how humanity was doing since the fall from the Garden of Eden. Humanity had been stumbling quite a bit, and the spiritual world was getting a bit tired of the entire drama. It was felt amongst the cosmic choirs of beings that humanity just could not meet the challenge. Michael was our great champion. He advocated on our behalf and convinced the spiritual world that humans were indeed up to the challenge. He also pledged to be part of the beings who work tirelessly on our behalf to honor our freedom, but also to serve us as a guide. It is fitting that this festival and season of Michaelmas leads up to Christmas. It is fitting that Michael is pictured as a deep messenger of encouragement from the gods. It is fitting that Michael is pictured along with the Black Madonna to tell us that they know that our path is difficult, but that we are not alone and we are capable of meeting the challenge. For me, the message is that the spiritual world has faith in humanity. Let us live up to this faith in all of our actions in these very difficult times. Christopher Bamford, in his introduction to a series of Steiner lectures on the Archangel Michael, puts it most beautifully. Quote, Michael cannot fulfill his mission without humanity's cosmic vocation of freedom, individuality, and love. Human beings, too, depend on Michael for the fulfillment of their task. His great joy is helping those who of their own free deed enter the ranks of those collaborating in the great work of the invisible. We forget in all the turmoil and distractions that we are actually indeed partners in this cosmic dance and this cosmic drama. Let us not forget this as we forge ahead with our wills in freedom and love. If you would like to know more about the Archangel Michael, the Knights Templar, the Black Madonna, and Mont Saint-Michel, I will be leading a retreat at Mont Saint-Michel on June 24th through the 27th at Mont Saint-Michel in France. This retreat is part of my Camino tour, The Journey of the Soul with the Black Madonna. And this pilgrimage is designed for every level of participation. For those of you who would like to be part of this retreat or any part of the tour, I have put links in the description. For those of you who would really love to come along, but just cannot for one reason or another, do not despair. We have a spirit walker option, which means you can participate in all the preliminary online preparations and discussions and come along in spirit where you can join in online on the retreat or receive recordings of the talks, as well as PDF copies of resource guides and outline for what we're talking about on our way. Just click on the link below for the Spirit Walker registration if this is the one that you would like. I accept PayPal, TransferWise, and if you're coming in person for any part of this, I'm working with the tour company for lodging and transportation. So you can work with Camino Ways, and then my portion you can pay me either through PayPal, TransferWise, or in cash when you come. If you would like to have your own copy of the Black Madonna Mysterious Soul Companion, which also goes into great length about many of the topics I talked about in this video, this book is available through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Audible, and the Espresso Book Machine. And I have a link to my book launch page, so feel free to click on that if you'd like to read some reviews, and you can learn more about it through that. For those of you listening in Europe, as well as Australia, the Black Madonna Mysterious Soul Companion is available through the Book Depository. So you can receive the book that way. And please make sure to subscribe to this channel, like the Heart of the Black Madonna on Facebook, and follow me on Twitter at BLMadonna. If you're so moved and you would like to have more content, please consider being a patron on Patreon, the Black Madonna Speaks. I send out special member benefits, patron benefits of not publicly released podcasts, as well as guides. And starting in January of 2019, I will also be having a benefit for my Patreon patrons, where we'll be having special online discussions. And again, I thank you so much for spending time with me, and I wish you many blessings on your journey.